I think it's like
Are we live? Of course we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. If you're like myself over here in England or the United Kingdom, good evening on this Sunday afternoon, people / evening. Obviously, if you're not here, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night where it applies, people. As usual, I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all enjoying your weekend. Hope you're all looking, forward to the week ahead and moving that much closer to, as you know, your goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations and whatnot. I obviously hope this previous week has been kind to you. And as usual, you can't do anything without health, people. So yeah, you ain't, I wish you lot have health in it in all aspects of the word. You ain't got health, you're dead. So yeah, I don't know why, but maybe it's because I don't know. We wasn't here yesterday. Maybe we've broken out of routine. It feels a bit weird sitting here. It feels like I'm missing something. It feels awfully quiet, people. I feel like I'm missing something and I'm doing something wrong. Nonetheless, as I said, man, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Obviously, Arsenal are back in competition on Thursday. We're playing in the Premier League again. It's a tough trip away to Wolves. Shameless plug the clock, people. But as you know, I'm going to be doing a watch along for that. Appreciative to the 57 likes that one has again. Make sure you set your reminders. After this, people, again, we're gonna have to make sure we're keeping a look on time because it's AFCON, people. It's the AFCON final, better yet, Senegal against Egypt. Either Mane or Salah will reign supreme. So I'm gonna be doing a watch along for that. The only exception is that that's gonna be on Twitch, people. Which again, you watch football on BT or you watch football on Sky Sports, or some of you watch games on multiple streams, but you still do your thing, man. So yeah, make sure you're with that. I'm missing a trim as well, man. My barber's gone AWOL, but we're just having to hold it up, man. I'll be pretty again, man. I hope you're doing well and safe, little Lewis. What a name. No, I hope you're doing well. Josh, the same. So yeah, man, where Arsenal are concerned, allegedly, well, purely the tabloids are saying, Martinelli wants the 14 shirt. Again, we all know what that carries. No one here is stupid. I know a lot of you are assuming we're going to have a chance at signing Serge Gnabry based on what's going on with his contract at Bayern Munich and what he's previously said once upon a time about potentially unfinished business. We ain't got a snowball's opportunity at that, but, the romantic in me, of course, I would love, similar to how Pogba went back to United. Not how it turned out, but the idea, of course, I would love him to come back to Arsenal and, he's not hailing, but it's an academy thing, via Germany. It would have been lovely for him. But yeah, man, it is what it is, people. It's not to be. So yeah, and allegedly, as you'd expect, there's allegedly other interest from other clubs in Isak. You mean people that are earmarking a potential young striker or monitoring their own striking positions are monitoring one of the most promising players in the world? Who would have thought? We probably knew he wasn't going to have a free shot at him. And he, I know we've got the whole Odegaard and him link up, but how far that takes us, I don't know. Please make sure you're hitting the like button if you haven't. How's your day been? Apologies, people. I think I'm getting ill. I need my lemon and Ray and F, but I think I'm calm. Other than that, it's been all right. Last week of my band, so I'll be back next week playing football. So yeah, it's been all right. Been missing you lot. Obviously, there's been no Premier League football. Well, there's been FA Cup, but Arsenal and the FA Cup for this season is irrelevant because we rubbed ourselves out against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, man. I see Dani Alves, well, Barcelona running right, but Dani Alves and Alba, in particular, doing a matter. Are you doing an AFCON final? As just stated, my dude, that's what you're already following on Twitch in it, G1, so you don't need to worry. That's going to be on Twitch, 6:30, 30 minutes before kickoff. So yeah, man, I thought, missed you lot, so I thought we might as well go live. Michigan, crazy. Shout out to you lot, man. Another goal this afternoon in a long drought for him, boy. Sociedad drew 0-0 with Valencia a few hours ago. Isak didn't do much that game. Boy. Arsenal fans have to be okay with benching Saka if someone like GNABRY comes to Arsenal. I think fans in general need to just understand that there's rotation. There's going to be times Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli are going to be dropped and have to be dropped. Or it might not be because it's doom and gloom or anything's necessarily going wrong. It's just, it is what it is. I would prefer to play GNABRY on the left. So it wouldn't directly affect Saka, but it might mean something for Martinelli potentially. Which, Operation Martinelli through the middle would be the one, really, that I know a lot of us fans are slightly hoping for. But again, with him developing, you probably need an experienced man. I know a lot of, let me know people again, because a lot of people say Martinelli should stick with his current number. Actually, he should be number 11, number 9, number 14. Personally, disclaimer, I don't care what number he wears. With respectfully, numbers aren't irrelevant, but they're relevant. You do the job on the pitch, all the other tosh takes care of itself. Obviously, you know, I would love him to get the number 9, because I just think he's going to be that Alexis Sanchez false 9 season reincarnated, really. But part of me hopes that as long as nobody's wearing that number 9 at Arsenal Football Club, there's an opportunity to bring in a striker. I don't really care what number he wears, really. You know, I would love him to wear number 14. It's a big shirt to wear. You know, Aubameyang did what he could, but, well, I mean, he left the same way as Henry, innit? Our captain and guy in Barcelona, really. So, you know, he did imitate the king in some way, but the last man that wore 14, it was a bit crazy. Again, I think he could do it, but I understand people that say Martinelli 11, but I just think too much is personally made of the number. But of course, if the man himself wants it, then I love that, because you've already know one thing I like about Martinelli. Technical level and them things there get you in the building, but it's the mentality. How many times have you seen players that are rubbish play amazing week in, week out, because they believe in themselves? Equally, how many times have you seen players in multiple leagues, technical ability for days, passing range for days, but they're nothing special? It's all about mentality. I think that's one thing the Premier League is more than anything. You've just got to be on it, really and truly. You know, you look at it, doesn't matter if you're big, small, whatever. You've just got to be on it. And some players, it's a culture shock, and I get that with Martinelli. You know, anytime the man's played, even when we were doing very poor, and do you remember when Runnison was in goal against City? That's one game that will always stand out for me with Martinelli, because he's gassing up his more experienced player, his more experienced man. So it's the energy, all the technical level, all these things. Obviously, they need to be good, but Martinelli's at a level where it's just about refinement now. It's just about bringing consistency and refinement. And obviously improving and whatnot. The same goes for Saka and Smith Rowe. I like it because, again, if you know, I'd rather him say I want this number 9, this 14, this whatever, than crumble. For some players, it's not that they crumble necessarily. Some players, as you can see, certain numbers are too big for them, but some players thrive off it. You know, I think Saka and Smith Rowe have taken it in their stride. So why not Martinelli? All that matters for me is the contract first. You know, get the man, him, Saliba, Saka, these guys, 2024, the contracts that need to be to be signed, the people that deserve the money, not that I'm pocket watching, get that one done. And anybody else, and make decisions about players that aren't going to be here, really and truly. So yeah, shout out to the JA Tugs as well. The grind don't stop, man. The grind don't stop, man. The grind does not stop. Consistency is what I demand the most from GNABRY right now. It's what's going to make or break, you know. Respectfully, you look at Hudson-Odoi and Reece Nelson, you look at them academy days, the man there could do everything. You know, arguably, there's something, and I look at Chong at United, he's finding his feet now. There's arguably something when a man's excelling at that level, it's a culture shock. And I kind of see it. I see players that kind of, I wouldn't say struggled at 23s, but they didn't set the world alight, kind of take to the Premier League a bit better than people that were badding it up. Consistency. Now, there's a variety of reasons. No two cases are the same, but like, you know, consistency. Martinelli and these young players, they're going to go through amazing periods. They're going to go through periods where they're not doing it, really. As you've seen with some of them, Saka and Smith Rowe, you know, it's been touch and go at periods this season. I look at going into the North London derby, coming out of it, there was all love, you know. I'd say probably in this, you know, this people are looking at it a bit as well. They're still young, they're still doing their thing. For Smith Rowe and Saka, you know, Martinelli, I'd say the same, but he's just really getting a chance. You obviously want to see if you can get 10 goals, 10 assists. The first thing would obviously be in all comps. Can you do it in the league? And we're only in one comp. So, yeah, man, Smith Rowe, I'd say at least where the Premier League goals ratio is concerned, I'd love to see you get 10, man. That's only 2 more. There's 17 games left. I back you to do it. And assists, of course, 17 games left. I don't actually know how many assists Smith Rowe actually has currently for Arsenal Football Club, but run it as close as you can and things like that, really. And, you know, there used to be a time I used to know all the numbers and that, but, you know, there's something to be said in productivity. We're scoring goals, but for the young players, when we look at it on the other one, you can't really say they're goal scorers yet. For me anyways, to be defined as a goal scorer, you need to be doing it for years. You know, even whatever people say about Lukaku and what he comes with, he is a goal scorer. He's done it for years. Not to say anything, people, and the rest goes for it. You need to do it for years. They're trying to get that in their game. Smith Rowe has got 8 goals. So the minimum I'm looking at in the league next year is 8 goals. Now, you've seen other players, Kane, Aubameyang, you know, other players have struggled to produce numbers and things. Numbers are not everything, but this is the level, and this is why I'm so big on okay, what are we doing with the experienced players now? As much as we're waffling about the youth and that, the experienced players that are here now, they can't just be here for no reason, you know. And that's where I kind of bang the case, because I keep saying it. But when you look at it, hit the like button if you haven't. It's Arsenal's experienced players that if you was to get a list and write them down, it's like they've all got an asterisk near their name. Aubameyang's left, but the form was one thing. Lacazette, the contract's another. The form is the next thing. The consistency in terms of goal scoring. Partey, I love the guy, but he's another one. Granit Xhaka, what you see is what you get. Do you accept a man for what his flaws are and accept that there's going to be the good, bad, and the ugly, to put it nicely? Or do you kind of press the club, Mikel Arteta and Edu, having both been midfielders, to kind of make someone else that can do what you want Xhaka to do, that without the obvious cons to the game? It's these sort of players. Obviously, Leno up until a point, with Ramsdale coming in at this moment in time. And even when you look at it, you know, the players that were or are at some point squad players, you know, Kolasinac, Cedric, Willian, I'm missing someone else out, Pablo Marie. How could I forget my guy? Respectfully, when these guys have been called upon, you know, it's a myth. Some man have to play 5 games a season, but them 5 games could be make or break. Some man are going to play the 38. Certain people are going to have to wait till January and whatnot. You know, football's a squad game. And of course, there's first teamers, and relatively the expectations are going to be adjusted. I'm not going to expect the same, respectfully, from Partey and El Nene. Obviously, the obvious I expect, but Partey's got more ability, so I'm a bit harsher on him. I'm not expecting everyone to perform to a certain level, but anyone within that 25-man squad, whenever it's your time, you need to stand up to be counted. And I can't really say I can say it about, probably, I believe in 9 of them, respectfully. Everyone gets my whole support, but I would say, you know, again, it's the obvious. I only really have faith in, you know, if there was a gun to my head, Aaron Ramsdale, Tomiyasu for sure would be the first names. You know, we're getting real close. Gabriel, for me, I trust him. Tierney, I trust him. You know, there's obviously other players, but I would say these are the ones. Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, with the exception of being young and that, you know. And, you know, and I might have missed out 1 or 2. And then you've got the players for me, you know, Ben White is moving in that direction. He's not quite there yet, but and he's away from these lot. But you've got Ben White, you've got Lacazette, you know, guys that I can believe in. You know, I like what Ben White's just signed. Lacazette, I kind of accept you for what you are. I know I'm going to get the general play and all these things, but that's where it really goes, isn't it? If I'm harsh, you know, if we shouldn't really, you know, hard work is the minimum, being able to press, being able to link up play. Are we overcompensating, or is this what we actually need? Or is this should this just be a given, is what you find yourself asking, really. Oba was mayor today. The man ain't played in gazillion years, really. All that matters is King Danny Alves, man. You saw what he did. So, boy, you're right about that. We need to stop building our expectation on these young players. Martinelli isn't ready for the pressure. It needs to happen organically. That's true. But again, at the end of the day, they're the ones playing. And as much as I agree with you, and that's how I feel, they're the only ones that you can rely on in the squad. So it's that's more so. I know the fans and whatnot, but we get emotional. That's more so for the club. You know, again, I like how these players, you know, it's like everything's blowing up at the Emirates, and these lot are being like the Avengers, just trying to save lives, as you've seen with the young players. I would love it to be kind of like Liverpool, where you look to your left and right, you see Fabinho, you see Van Dijk, you see Alisson, you know. Trent Alexander-Arnold is an experienced player, even though he's, in the grand scheme of things, he's young, you know. And they've got other players of all denominations. That's what we need to be on. Imagine how much more these young players would thrive if there wasn't that pressure. If Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, if they don't score, we probably don't pick up 3 points. That's a territory we're in 9 times out of 10. Or if they don't have a good game, you know, we don't really know what's going on. And it's testament to their ability. You know, they've been given opportunities, they've used it and whatnot, but it's pretty damning, because as much as I'm big on youth football and whatnot, there's an element of today that you need to deal with, in it. Really, you know, it is what it is. Bro, you lot still talking about Aubameyang. Shout out to you lot, man. The man's gone now. So yeah, man, it's lovely to hear that Martinelli wants to wear the shirt, man. That's good on him. But let's see exactly what the man himself has said. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. After this, 6:30, head over to Twitch again. Senegal versus Egypt and whatnot. But Martinelli wants Arsenal's number 14 shirt after Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's exit, so he can't get it until next season at least. You know, GM 14 sounds quite good. You know, so does 11, so does 9. You know. I do want the 9 shirt to stay free because it gives me a bit of optimism that a striker, well, it needs to come in where it comes in. But same way, number 14, boy, famous striker award that, man. Mbappe, free transfer, 14 shirt could be available. You know what you need to do, man. Come on, man. Real Madrid's not really a challenge, man. Come on, Mbappe. You don't need 300 whatever a week. In fact, yeah, but we gave that to Ozil. Give him the bank. A man can hope, man. A man can hope. And I know sometimes people come in the comments and they're rather serious about Arsenal's chances of activating Haaland's release clause. But yeah, anyways, Martinelli wants to take over Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's 14 shirt at Arsenal following the striker's move to Barcelona. Mbappe would be great on that left-hand side. Mbappe, if you happen to watch me, come on, man. Come on, man. Real Madrid won't love you like we can, man. On a serious note, away from the dream chasing, as we know, Martinelli's done his thing. He scored 4 goals, a lot of development to do, you know, a lot of refinement, but he'll get there, you know, he'll get there, in my opinion. Just how far Martinelli wants to go, his ability can only take him so far, his mentality will take him wherever, and it's down to him. According to the scum, you know, Martinelli now has his eye on taking over Arsenal's iconic 14 jersey now that Aubameyang has departed. So take it with a pinch of salt, people. It'd be lovely to see you, you know, like Smith Rowe, you sign a new deal, get that one, get that shirt done, you know, and whatnot. It'd be lit. Again, everybody knows, but he can't get the shirt this season. But in an interview last year, again, we've been hoodwinked a bit, ain't we, people, with this one, ain't it? Of course, Oba plays in my position, but I look to him every day in training to learn as much as I can from him. He's also a great guy off the field. So what's changed? I want to follow in Oba's footsteps. He's a captain. He wears the 14 shirt. That is the symbol for this club. And of course, I hope, to be very successful at Arsenal. So yeah, man, just keep playing, man. Just keep playing, Martinelli, and everything will do the rest of it, man. But yeah, man, we've been hoodwinked a bit with that. You know, should we see what Mikel Arteta has had to say? Shout out to the Highland Demons smashing up them Cobham boys. How much time is I keep telling you, look, don't come around Finsbury Park or Meadow Park, man. Shout out to Martinelli for getting Player of the Month again. Respectfully to Martinelli, it's a bit like our goal of the month. There's not too much to choose from, really. Interview. I think these are all Arteta's things. Here we got it there in a sec. Let's open that. Let's open that. Is that it? All right, so let's do this. Our 3 key objectives in Dubai. And now for me, people, is what is where the transfer market. You know it, I know it. You know, as much as we can say, okay, on one hand, wages saved, got a unhappy player out. It's something we can carry on with things. Let's be real, we're rather weak up front. And regardless, if something booky happens, we're going to look back at this period. Forget up front, probably in centre mid, you know, and the critics might say, you know, we've had 2 windows. Yes, 2 very different windows, but the results haven't been drawn in relation to addressing that spine of the team. You know, we brought in Lokonga. He wasn't a guy that was going to come in and play immediately. So we didn't look to the midfielders at pressing area with what we had. Up front, obviously, we tried. You don't get points for trying because you tried with Lahovic, you tried with Martinez allegedly, tried with this guy, that guy. For whatever reason, there's nothing here. So it is what it is. You know, we can scream and shout. It is what it is. This is what we have available to us for the 17, 18 games left of the league. For better or worse, you know, by God's grace, there's no injuries, there's no loss of form, consistencies at an all-time high, all of that stuff. But we're betting on a lot. And for me, away from that, just in terms of galvanization, I know when we go to Dubai, it seems like there's always a fight or some bust up, but I hope they've been able to bond with each other, been able to regroup, been able to forgive themselves for negative points of the season, and obviously, you know, give themselves a pat on the back for what they've accomplished. You don't get points for accomplishing anything because there's no trophies, but somewhat trying to save your season. And you know, we're going to need this trip, really and truly. You know, it is what it is. We're really going to need togetherness. Again, every player is going to need to be counted on at some point, really and truly. So it is what it is. And you know, this is the bed we've made, so we've got to line it. Our 3 key objectives in Dubai, the winter break in the Premier League gave us and everyone's back, by the way, gave us the perfect opportunity to recharge our batteries with a warm weather training camp in Dubai. We had a break of 2 weeks and thought of the best way to maximize it, and felt the best way was to stay together for a week or so in a different environment, but with clear objectives for the weeks, not only physically but mentally. It's been a tough season and a tough few years. We wanted to take this opportunity to get a few things from it, which is true. The first thing, the training camp in these conditions is beautiful. We want to keep improving the efficiency of our game model, and it's a beautiful place to do it. The second one is to set clear objectives for what we want to do at the end of the season. We have 17 games to finish. how we are going to do it and what we want to achieve in those games. And that's exactly what I'm saying. At the end of the day, if we was to go in every month of this Premier League calendar up until this point or until May, every month is going to tell a story for every team. Every week, there's going to be villains and heroes. All that matters is where you start and where you finish. It doesn't matter about any good run from November until December, a wobbly start to the year, a bookie August, and then clawing it back with good, positive months. The only thing that matters is where you start and when you finish. And obviously, due to the alphabet, Arsenal actually, it's actually the best thing to be in August until we play in it, people. So this is the period. It's make or break. At the end of the day, away from us fans, players, whatever people say, no one likes failure. And I definitely wouldn't like failure if I'm going into work doing something week in, week out. I definitely wouldn't like what is said. We all know the things that are said when Arsenal crumble. And likewise, I would want to be part of an initial, if I've just come into this club or I've just come through the academy, the first group to make things happen. Now, me personally, I would have loved if I don't know why, but why things didn't happen. But I would have loved if Edu or Arteta in this group, between new signings and whatnot, said, we're going to be the first team to get first group of players to push Arsenal back into the Champions League for a variety of reasons. I can't lie, people. Mathematically, it's possible. I hope we fight, but I just think because of the January transfer period, for me, that's the blow where it's going to come, because when it comes to this, it's about just grinding. I'm not going to lie. This is the part of the season, as you know, it's just about getting it done. It's about getting it done from January to March, from March to April, from April to May. It's just about getting it done. And again, our young players are very good, but I don't know if they're going to do the 5 and 10 games where they're unstoppable or do the shaky ones, respectively. Our experienced players, you look over at Liverpool, Salah and these guys, we know we ain't got that, but just away from their ability, there's certain consistencies you're going to get from now to the end of the season. We ain't got time for really people to have wobbles and stuff like that. And every drop point, it hurts that much more, people. It's crunch time, really. You've seen United come out of the FA Cup as well. When you move away from the banter, that's less games out the calendar for them. That means they can keep their squad fresher, So it is what it is. It's that time. So it's whatever these players want to, it is what it is. You've got 17 games, and the same goes for the coaches. At the end of the day, there's certain inherited problems, certain problems just in general. I cut for the players and Arteta and things like that. But at the end of the day, there's an element of needing results. There's an element of self-inflictingness for the players. You've played stupid games and won stupid prizes, Every point dropped has been maybe we haven't started games well, maybe game management, maybe players have switched off, maybe, they, for a variety of reasons, and it happens, So it's what these guys want to do, really. It's what these guys want to do. We have 17 games to finish, how we're going to do it and what we want to achieve in those games. The third one was about building the unity and the spirit that is in the group, and that has to be maintained. There's no better way to do it, not only with the players, but as well with the families, because they're a big part of what we do, and we need them on board to keep pushing every day, which is also true. Facts. Hit the like button if you haven't, So I hope the trip was good. Our aim this season is high, but it is possible. We have the youngest squad in the league, and that is not a coincidence. We plan to do something like that because we had to rebuild something as well that we believe in. Okay, we've been told that, and we accept that, and we're happy with that. We have a squad full of enthusiasm and passion, but with the right amount of quality and experience as well, which I think is very much needed. So this just tells me, again, I'm being a bit harsh, and I'm not, but these words have come out your mouth. This tells me whatever these goals are for the season, I hope they're top 6 minimum. As a fan, you'd hope with an opportunity to fight for fourth, you run it all the way. You've got enough, Whether you try to bring in players, whatever happened in the transfer market, Lacazette and Eddie, apologies, have 2 goals between them. So in the league of recent, so in terms of open play, Giroud just did that in the Milan derby. So you're telling me that that's your goal scorers. When you look at some of our rivals, boy, I don't know. The same goes with midfield and their inconsistencies. Shout to the defense, but again, Tomiyasu's still young, Ramsdale is still young, Ben White is still young, Gabriel is still young. It's the same as Tini. They're gonna have bad games and do clangers. So you've told me this is it, innit? I can only accept things at face value to some degree, and we're firmly in the mix for top 4 place with 17 games remaining. We all know, again, in terms of PR, I'm not saying the race is for top 4, but man, I'm saying these things. Like I can only go on what said. The article is saying this. He never said that. Of course, that's the media. And again, as I said, if I'm these players, hey, you've got a shot. Is it going to be difficult? Are you the favourites? Do you have enough? These are all questions, but run it all the way. I'd want to play in the Champions League regardless. We're just going to qualify for the sake of it, really. But I'd want, as a player, you want to play in that. You want to finish as high as possible. No one wants to achieve failure. So yeah, enthusiasm and passion is good, but it's results time, man. So we are looking forward to the run-in. We know what the aim is at the end of the season, where we want to be. It's high, but it's possible. And we're going to have a real go in the second half of the season to achieve it. I mean, you and Eddie have played the blind and no one has told us specifically. I am very confident because I see how much they want it and we still have a lot of things to improve. I hope they want it. But even if I'm a bit of a hypocrite from what I just said, even sometimes as much as we want it, we could all want to be footballers right now. Doesn't mean we're going to be playing at the Bernabeu tomorrow, does it, people? It's all about levels, man, respectfully. We have lost points that sometimes show the lack of maturity we have in the squad. But at the same time, we won a lot of games because of the enthusiasm, the passion, and the energy they bring to the team. That's true. We're going to have inconsistencies. Again, as stated, this is why I want a bit more from our experienced players on a week in, week out basis. And I want a bit more insurances from there. You know, you could expect 7s and up out of 10s every week. Anyways, the bar's on the floor. So we have to keep maintaining that balance, right, and give them confidence. When those players feel supported and know we are right behind them and they play with no fear, that is when they really fulfill their capabilities and qualities. That's true. But even the baddest man on this planet feels fear sometimes. You know, fear keeps everybody alive. If you ain't got fear in your heart, you're in trouble. That leads to complacency. Sometimes they're just going to be scared on the battlefield. And again, they might need them experienced players. It's our job to do it, and our fans have been crucial in that because they have really felt they are right behind them. Shout out to the fans. You know, you give us something, we'll give you something back. Connection with the fans can be our biggest strength. Yep, but you know, we've made the Emirates, I won't quite say a fortress, but we're doing all right with 17 games to go. That connection is something, in my opinion, that is lost, and it is one of our biggest strengths. The power, the history, the tradition that we have at this club, and as well the demands. The demands have to be there to push each of us every day to seek excellence, which is what this club demands, but as well with the right support sometimes and understanding where we are. You cannot compare the team here in 2000 with this team because they are two completely different contexts. The league is different, the profile of players is different, but the aim is to be the best. That is the mindset of every player here. I hope so. I hope so. Because if it's not, if you don't want to be the best you can be in any walk of life, then you need to come out of here, man. Really and truly. Need to pattern the lights. Come on, people. If you ain't hit the like button, get them in. Have faith in the team. Top 4 is ours in argument. Don't I have faith in everyone. I want us to get top 4. But I'd be a coward if I thought that we're the favourites for it. You have an opportunity, you know, fight for it. Simple as that. You know, prove me wrong. I'm not just I'm just not going to sit here and just say it for the sake of it. Top 4 is not ours. It's not anyone's. It's whoever finishes there. Nothing is said until May. Even see, you think Pepe said he's telling them, man, the title's won as much as it looks like the Prem's a Farmers League? You think he's ever letting them say publicly that or privately the league's done? Come on. And Arsenal, respectfully, we're definitely not a team to be complacent and sitting here. If you want it, you'll get it. If you want something bad enough in life, you'll make it happen to a degree. We all know there's different contexts. Certain people have more advantages and disadvantages, which you could compare to Arsenal's team right now. But if you want it, you'll run it all the way. And how quickly we go out of that tells me everything. Again, as you look can see, Serge Gnabry's contract is running up at Bayern Munich. It seems that he's at loggerheads. My guess is he will extend. And in the event he doesn't, Man United and Liverpool are circulating, allegedly. He's got 18 months left on his deal. He did previously say Arsenal would be his favourites. But yeah, man, just in the hope that these clubs don't get him. Could you imagine Gnabry at Liverpool, bro? Come on now. Under his fellow countryman club. Come on, forget about it. Pardon me, scary stuff. But yeah, on a more serious note, Manchester United, and to be fair, multiple clubs, according to what report you read, are saying they're looking at Isak. Now, everybody probably is looking at Isak. Everybody's looking at everyone, in my opinion. And that's how football works. Everybody looks at everyone, you know. Whether they follow up, they're looking, you know. Everybody goes to, you know, everyone goes to the supermarket. It don't mean you're going to buy, everyone's going to buy a bit of planting. It does it. You know, some people are just going to look and decide this ain't for me. Some people are going to say, you know what, I'll give you £1 for 3 of them. It all depends. But again, we have to, for me, the point to say is, I know someone's a long way away. If you get Isak or whoever you want, fine. But if whatever player it is, if you do not get them for other clubs and things happen, that's cool. But I don't care about we tried. Players are going to want to sign for everybody. Sometimes they move away and don't sign for your team. I don't want to hear we tried. Results are going to be needed. So if Isak is the first choice, by all means. but know the plan B, the plan C is just ultimately be proactively reactive in the market. Man United turned their attention to securing a deal for Chelsea and Arsenal target Isak in the summer, with club eyeing 75 million Real Sociedad striker as Ronaldo replacement. There's been a bag of circulated reports that Ronaldo will look to leave Man United should they fail to qualify for the Champions League. So that's probably where indirectly this has come from. As we know, Arsenal, say from the summer, have been the club heavily linked with Isak. But again, other teams, United and Lukaku, how long is that going to last? I mean, Chelsea and Lukaku, United, as it said here, you've got Cavani probably leaving, and it is what it is. I'm not too sure. Well, I was about to say with what's going on, but depending what happens with certain players, they probably will need a young striker. Isak, for what it's worth, in my Football Manager save, signed for United people. So yeah, according to the Mirror, they've been linked with him. It's gone on to say Chelsea's been linked with him. Isak hasn't had the most thriving of games, as Omar said. He didn't have the most standout of games against Valencia. His team hasn't been doing the best this season. And you know what? We've got every chance of getting him. As you know, we've shown an interest. The London aspect, what Arsenal used to be. He said he knows about Henry. He's done. Odegaard is here, but every club's up. Amazing. Let's be real. As much as you want to banter, if I'm a footballer, if I was in his shoes, it's a 22-year-old at Sociedad, I'd entertain Arsenal, regardless of where Man United are. But that's a club you can't really say no to. So I'd listen. Chelsea, I'd listen, of course. Without a doubt. Thomas Tuchel and I don't know. Obviously, I would say in terms of pressure, Arsenal will probably be the best place for him to sit at, with United and the pressure that comes with it. Not saying there isn't pressure at Arsenal. Chelsea, there's mad pressure, and there's not really patience, really. I don't know if Chelsea, I'm not saying he's not a good player, but he's a young player. Now, what's a word that typically follows with young in terms of football? Frustrating, Is that to a degree, is that? And I think personally looking at Chelsea, young and old, they've got too many frustrating players within the squad, Lukaku, Werner, for a variety of reasons. And I'm not saying anyone's a good or bad player, but there's frustrating elements. Ziyech, Werner, Lukaku, Havertz, Hudson-Odoi. And you get the point. Arsenal got a bag in them as well. And I don't know. Chelsea need goals. The one thing Chelsea, Isak has over Lukaku is he can ball. He can do the general play and stuff. But is he going to fire Chelsea to the goals, really? United, is he going to, the pressure with the shirt? Arsenal, it's not that there's not going to be pressure, but we're doing this young player thing. As we just saw with Mikel Arteta, we've got one of the youngest squad. Or maybe none of these clubs move from. You don't know, people. We saw this already where he played coy on reports of moving people. But earlier this month, last month, better yet in January, he spoke to Mundo Deportivo where he said, I'm not talking about other clubs. I'm a Real player. I work here and this is my club. My work is on the pitch. And as I told you before, there are other people who work outside. And then he said, as I always say, you never know what can happen in football. But in the end, I'm here and nothing more. And again, the first thing I care about is Arsenal, definitely not the other clubs, but the man's weaknesses, because that's how he's going to become better. He's young. There's elements of inconsistencies. If I'm harsh, he's really only been doing it for 18 months. Pepe was only doing it for 18 months, and you could see it personally. I think if you was watching him, as some of us were, you could see why he was a promising player and still somewhat is. He's the level of consistency, intelligence, and these things are not right there in the footballing. The footballing IQ ain't there. His own dad said it basically, And there's an element, not that Isak's is like Pepe, Isak's a baller, but that's the stage of his career he's at, which, again, worst comes to worst, he could tie in with the future. But again, how long have you got to wait? In an ideal world, if Arsenal were in a position, you get Isak and you get someone who's a bit more ready to do this thing at this moment in time. Not that there is a mad sort of look at them. Saliba's also, again, people, is a bit of a hoodwink, but Saliba's also been linked with several moves away to West Ham, Real Madrid, both Milan clubs, and it seems like he'll be given a chance, people, at Arsenal. We need to commit him to sign a new deal. He ties in, we've spoken about Saliba at length. He had a decent game against Lyon until he got twisted up by Dembele. I haven't caught up with the Angers game yet. I've got it recorded, and after AFCON, I'm going to look at that. He's done well in France. He's played, first things first, he's played a lot of minutes. So shout to Sao Paulo in that. He's handled the pressure of playing for Marseille. It's a big club. He's got to play in Europe. He's got to play against top defenders. Obviously, he's played He's played against Mbappe. Everyone waffles about the tackle. He's had tough moments as well against Dembele. There's been shaky games from him on occasion this season and good ones. He's 20. He's 21 next month. He's still young. That's a baby for centre halves. Every now and again, you get these De Ligts, and even De Ligt, who took a while to get going at Juventus, and these Marquinhoses and other people who are exceptions to the rules. But as a defender, he's still young. there's a lot of tricks and trades of the game he needs to learn just by watching him. First thing is his heading's going to have to improve. And then just things appropriate to his age, when to be flat-footed, when to be on your toes, body positioning, when to play it to your right back, when to try a more adventurous pass, looking over your shoulder, following runners. So he does things you'd expect. So the problem for me is it's never been quite direct what we're trying to do. I got that fans wanted him to play because they want their young players to play, and some of the more experienced centre halves he could have done with their minutes. But I thought there was a lot of euphoria about just playing. Same with the Balogun thing. As much as shout out to Balogun for going through with Middlesbrough, playing against United, he didn't do nothing. And respectfully to him, he's still learning. But if you cannot do nothing against United, then that's the sort of teams you're playing week in, week out in the league. So it don't really make sense. As long as Saliba comes back a more experienced player, that's first thing. Now, for me, if I'm Saliba, it's not really been the Arsenal party. I thought there's been different managers. I'd say there ain't really been clarity to me. I would want to see what's going on this season before I commit to signing a new deal. For Martinelli, for Saka, for them and there, it's good to get a new deal because they've been playing. I'd want to see what Arteta has. I'd probably suspect he comes into the season. You never know. God forbid, Arsenal, there might be injuries and it doesn't happen. But he'd probably be third choice. So it'd be nice to renew his deal and whatnot. He looks a more experienced player, come back a more confident player, more experienced one, and have just a bigger chance. I still think it's taking a while to get ahead of Gabriel and Ben White in the lineup, but we need options. There's 38 Premier League games. We've got to start in 11 technically, but we've got to start in 9. And then after we get that 11 and add 2, with ideally a striker and midfielder, in my opinion, it becomes depth. God forbid, as you've seen, when Gabriel gets injured, it gets long. Who's going to play? Ben White has an off game or whatever. Who comes in? And this could be said across several places. Again, we want a half-decent right back. We've been linked with Spence once again, because if something happens to Tomiyasu, we're in trouble, unfortunately. Scrolling all the way down, people. Saliba, of course, has yet to play a competitive game for Arsenal since his move from France. The 20-year-old has obviously been at Nice. He's been back to St. Etienne at a point, and he's now playing at Marseille with Sao Paulo, where, another Arsenal, technically loanee, is doing quite well. Matteo Guendouzi. He's very much the modern day centre half. I think he can get caught flat-footed. I think his body positioning can improve. I think his heading can improve. I think his reading of the game can improve. But I think I like his mentality. For a young man, he's quite consistent. He doesn't hide. He is a good defender. All the things I expect of him to improve is at the stage you'd expect. Again, you can't play for Arteta if you're not going to be good on the ball. I'd like to suspect such. He averages, not that this is relevant to me because you can use it with your eyes. Again, long story short, he's got an average higher passes on the ball than Gabriel and Ben White and Holding. His passing accuracy also sees him ahead of them. Interceptions, he also quite high as well. Again, maybe a league guard discount. There are culture shocks. And the thing I hate about young players, very good game, they're the messiah. Every bad game, they're shaky, which is brazy. So, yeah, man, apparently Edu and Ben Napier have been watching him. Mavididi bigged him up and said he's one of the best in the league. Put him, he mentioned him and Marquinhos in the same sentence. Not that he's better, but if you're getting mentioned among Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Jerome Boateng, you're doing all right. Mavididi said, I'm an Arsenal fan too, and playing against Saliba, I thought we've got a very decent defender here. So yeah, let's see what happens where Saliba's concerned, people. Again, there's a lot of decisions to make. Technically, Ainsley Maitland-Niles is contracted until 2023. Reece Nelson, things can change, but 23, him contracted until 2023. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Maybe a year in his deal. Final Gaffer said I expect a bit more. He's 23 in December. He's still young to have a career, but decisions need to be made. You've got Leno, you've got Guendouzi, you've got Torreira. Decisions need to be made. Marie's gone out on loan. What's going to happen there? We need to bring in a right back. What are we going to do with Cedric? Is he going to hang around like a bad smell for a year? Boy. And that's assuming players that haven't said want to stay or whatever. Xhaka to Roma, Xhaka to Italy. We all know in the summer that's going to heat up and things like that. So we have to see what's going on, man. But yeah, man, that's where the tabloids and all that stuff is concerned, people. The little we have to speak about is here. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitch. Again, 6:30 AFCON final watch along. Tomorrow I'll be live on Twitch at 10 a.m. Footy Talks. If there's anything Arsenal to speak about or not, I'll be live at 11:30. 4:30 I'll be on Twitch to play Football Manager. Appreciative to everyone who was on Twitch yesterday. We technically played about 6 hours of that. We were there for time. over 2 technically streams because of breaking that. Would you sign Isak and a Dominic Calvert-Lewin striker type this summer and do a twin tower type front two? Nah, not really, man. I want to do the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. And again, you know, if Arteta, maybe his mind will change, but I don't think he wants a midfielder better than Xhaka. If you do that, then I'm more open to playing 2 up front. I don't think our midfield is consistent enough for that. I don't think we're gonna cut young players are gonna cut out if they don't get top 4. They've got a platform to play, and actually, let's press her. Saliba was responsible for their mass loss against Lyon. I mean, one player is never going to be responsible solely for a result. Our fan base are toxic over everything, man. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if not wrong, my man needs to stay where he's at. We need a real machine. I mean, I'm not going to cap Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not high up my list, but I don't think he's bad. And I'd give him a chance and things like that. I just hope if he signed, you'd play to his strengths. You know, you can't sign them and they're not cross. You know, maybe Tini will get some more assists. You know, Watkins is actually my more sort of player when I look at everything he does across 90 minutes, but I'd rather Dominic Calvert-Lewin, just another name we've been linked with. Should be able to do more than Holding, man, in my opinion. And even Holding might cut out because obviously he's third choice centre half now. He's in the leadership group, but he talks about playing for England. Whether he's able to do that or not is another thing. He's not in an ideal world, respectfully, unless there's massive improvement. You're not going to dislodge Gabriel or Ben White. You're not a better reader of the game than either one. You're not a better defender necessarily. You're not a better progressive passer. You know, you probably are a tiny bit better reader of the game than Saliba because you've got more experience. But once them things there start falling into place, you're fourth choice. So even that, and the club might say, you know, Holding every now and again, he gets links with these little moves for 20 million to Newcastle and Everton, and that we signed him for 2 million. I know he's young, English and homegrown, and that when I say young, subjective, but they might say there's a profit there. Because if you look at it, assuming Saliba stays next year, in an ideal world, you bring a right back in, and I would probably want 4 to 5 centre halves on the books to be used if we're going to try and compete in all comps and whatnot. But you look at it, you might be able to get away with Gabriel, Ben White, Saliba, pardon me, say, you know what, we brought in another right back. If it gets to that, pardon me, Tomiyasu, you might just do a thing that in that game for us, and then it is what it is. So it's an interesting one, man. Even a blind man can see Saliba is special, but he also was nowhere near ready to start every game at Arsenal. And Yoni, you're asking for logic. You're asking for 2 truths to be lived in the same realm. You know, this is one thing I love about my channel and you guys, because we preach that. But come on now, you know, the Saliba debate became another stick to beat Arteta with, or whatever. You know, it's a lot of agendas. You know, so Arteta's rubbish with youth talent because he's not starting Balogun week in, week out, and he's not doing this with Martinelli, he's not doing that, and the third. And then, respectfully, I'm not saying any of these things can't be right or wrong, but then, you know, when Saka's producing in terms of numbers, Smith Rowe is doing all right, you know, had his best goal scoring season, give credit to the players, but do you not have to credit the manager? Like, I'm sure there's an element of them doing what they're doing, but the gaffers had to work with them, no? You know, fundamentally, to score more goals, you have to be in better goal scoring positions. So that means your movement has to be better. If your movement's going to be better, you have to be proactive. Being proactive in life, what does it come with? Thinking. If you're thinking, you know, you're asking yourself better questions, or somebody's going through things with you, and that's what you need to do. And obviously, you'd have to point that to Arteta. And the thing is, you know, even when Saliba comes back, he's going to have at times a baptism of fire. You know, he's going to get destroyed in games. He's a young centre half. You can't expect him to be a great centre half. If you know, can you expect someone to be a lifeguard if they've never struggled in water before and been in the deep end and that? Come on now. It's like strikers. Strikers are going to miss tap-ins and the pressures and whatnot. For me, Balogun, you're doing well. Go and play at Middlesbrough for half a year. Ideal world, we'd love him to come back and he's Premier League ready right now and stuff. Reality probably is, in an ideal world, if we do what we need to do in the market, unfortunately, Balogun, you go out on loan again, which ain't the best, ain't the worst. Be away from, there's still pressure. Middlesbrough, I assume, are trying to get in the Premier League and do these things, and their fans are not going to care. You're a young guy, you're a striker, do your thing. But being away from the pressure of Arsenal and the fans and just needing to do the business week in, week out could help you. In an ideal world, you bring in a striker and we find some solution to, if that striker is injured, who can play, really, because you can't really say Laka here for another year or Eddie here for another year or whatever. That's why I said in an ideal world, you you get the bad boy striker, you know. In an ideal world, we would have got Vlahovic, and then I would have said someone, not Ivan Toney per se, but that skill set, because that's similar to Laka's. And again, it's easier said than done. I would like us actually to, you know, sign a marquee striker, someone that can do the business, and actually just do the scouting thing. At worst comes to worst, you have to be able to fight. Like the bars low with Lacazette. Let's be real. You know, we've kind of looked past the fact that he scores goals. You know, he can't score goals. Respectfully to Laka, we want pressing, we want hold up play, we want him to drop deep. Surely, if goals and immediate goals aren't the immediate thing we need to do beyond the obvious, surely you can find a young player that can do that, that can link up play, that can give us something a bit different, and then you know, develop him and things. Oh, Haaland. I hear that, man. I don't think Arsenal have a snowball's chance in signing Haaland. Nonetheless, big up you for the optimism, man. I mean, trying's dead, man. But Arteta needs to cut from my club. Bit harsh. Very harsh, but fair play. You're allowed your opinion. The eye test with footballers is a myth now, because you know, nobody likes to actually do the hard part of watching things. Saliba's going to be homegrown by the time he's 21, makes holding very expendable. I see, even that point went over my head. So, boy, yeah, man, even that. You know, some people, you just got to take certain, man, you just have to take to a point, man. And holding, I actually like holding, but, you know, you can leave with your head held high, really. You know, you've won FA Cup here in Digiting. This might be as far as it gets, really, unless there's a dramatic uptake. I mean, there was a time before he got the injury, he was doing his thing, so he's shown he can compete. But, yeah, man, it's what it is. Going to need a lot more than that. Oh, what's going on with my mouse? I honestly would like that Canadian player, Jonathan David. I mean, I'd like him as well, man. I like what I'm seeing from him. I think his game has really improved in the last year to 18 months. And he's someone we should be monitoring, really. And I don't want to say a deal's ever easy, but you'd imagine, you know, we've signed 2 players from Lille. They might owe us from the Pepe one, to be fair. You know, you'd imagine they know how we like to structure deals and things like that. And respectfully to Leo, they are a selling club already. They are open to selling players. His agent has made it clear he wants to move. So you'd think maybe that's something we could do, man. And I mean, we've known for a year that there's a chance Eddie and Lacazette are gonna walk. We've clearly tried to sign a striker in the summer. We didn't wake up in the summer and say we need a striker. So you know, clearly we've known for the best part of 2 years strikers on the agenda. So I hope there's several avenues to explore come the summer, because all that matters for me is when the window closes, I don't want to hear we tried, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Just pay for Haaland. We are Arsenal. We don't settle for less. Get it done, man. I'm hoping we can get Haaland, man, but come on now, man. There's not a single chance. As much as I love it, there's not a single chance you're gonna get it, man. You know, you think he's not probably decided his next club, or he's not whittling down the chances. If Arsenal want to do it, you have to act quick, you know, because you've heard he's had a meeting in January with City, spoken with Madrid at length. These clubs have probably been indirectly communicating with his agent for the best part of a year or two. His agent, obviously being Mino Raiola, might have different plans for his client. Apologies. Less of that, man. I don't know what's happened to Tomiyasu, man. It looks like we made him play against Liverpool, and we might have, as I always say, you want to win the battle, not lose the war. Maybe he could have not played in that, not that there was anyone else to play, and then done the thing. But I don't know. I don't see him any training pictures. I don't see him competing for Japan. Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on, man. But as you lot, anytime Tomiyasu's not there, I get scared. Let me see what's going on. Football.London says Japan international Tomiyasu has been struggling with a calf injury in recent weeks. The versatile right back first suffered the problem during the 4-1 win against Leeds United back in December, but tried to play through the pain barrier during last month's 2-0 defeat to Liverpool in the second leg. Arteta has confirmed that he'll be out for a few weeks, effectively ruling him out of the game against Wolves. This is what he said, Tommy had an injury and we didn't have anyone to play in that position against Liverpool. He needs to recover and look after himself to try and be available as quick as he can. He'll be out for a few weeks. And I think we only play once, maybe twice in February, so it might be away with. Yeah, Tino, do that, man. Lovely to see Harvey Elliott score, man. You know, obviously he's had a tough time with injury. Like, again, when I see it's not on the same level because again, it is in terms of health. But you look at someone like Bamba of Middlesbrough, the man who's fought cancer and scored the penalty. This is what these things are about. But to see Harvey Elliott come back from his injury and you know score a goal and just get back to what you're doing, and to see Bamba score a Harvey Elliott score a goal and see Bamba score a penalty, it's lovely, man. It's what football's about. Obviously, there's things deeper than football. But yeah, man. Big up yourself, my guy. Popcorn gang, hit the like button. Probably the reason we didn't sign any strikers in the last summer was because of Oba could have gotten back in form and he was tied to us back then. But we tried for Tammy though. We tried quite hard for Tammy allegedly. Lamptey would be the dream signing, but he won't want to be our second choice, right? I mean, you can compete with Tomiyasu, and I can't rule out anything because the club say it, but I think when you look at that Spence guy at Middlesbrough, not saying Lamptey's not better, you've probably got more luck. I don't see the club spending 50 million on. I don't think the club is going to try. We're not going to do the City thing at this moment in time. I know Saliba's here, but it kind of is what it is, sort of thing. In that you have two elite players or elites pushing it, but two bad boy footballers fighting for one spot. I don't think we're going to sign Lamptey because that's about 50 million. That's 50 million on someone that's going to fight for right back, maybe first choice, potentially second choice, and then you've got that's 50 million. That's before you even talk about a striker, for however much that costs, whatever you do, and then you talk about centre mid, and then obviously you have to put an asterisk because me and you don't know what Arteta wants to do in the market. He might flip everything just for argument's sake and say, you know what, I want a winger. It's crazy, but I want a centre back or whatever in it. Rodgers will probably get sacked for this Forest performance despite winning the FA Cup. Meanwhile, we're keeping Arteta after he's failed to get past fourth round twice now. I'm not aware with what's going on in the FA Cup at this moment in time, but I take it's looking peak for Leicester and the magic of the FA Cup is still reigning supreme. That's what I'm saying. You probably got more chance of getting Spence because they're saying 10 million or something. All right, you spend 10 million there. You probably sell a Maitland-Niles and Reece Nelson and these sort of guys. That signing there basically pays for itself, and it's not going to do too much, really. Pardon me. Well, I know it's not the same, but Aubameyang's wages technically pay for that. Not that it's as white and black as that. Attack looked decent in the summer. We assumed we'd plug defensive gaps and part in the middle. Attack will run by itself, and that's the problem, really. Even the summer. I mean, the thing with us, bro, is like I'm not being funny, but kind of know what to expect with a couple of these players for years now. I think we've accepted it. Like we accepted with Aubameyang, he's going to frustrate, but he's going to score goals. Lacazette fundamentally isn't going to score goals, but he's going to give you other things. So it's like, if anything, we should know exactly what we're doing. Why did certain man get blocked for fun? I don't know if it's by mistake. I've been blocked on 2 accounts. Moderators don't block people for no reason, but if anyone's been blocked and moderators have been doing their job, then it's deservedly so. We should go all in for Max Aarons or Spencer next summer and maybe some statement signings like Bellingham in midfield. I would love that. But wait. Spencer's a baller. Another 9 out of 10 performance from him. Good to know we weren't a one-off. Yeah, man, he's doing well. And he knows Smith Rowe, innit? So come back to London, man. Come back to London. He's doing quite well, really. You look at Middlesbrough, he's at Forest. But one thing I like about Middlesbrough, they kind of find guys with not necessarily the straightest path into football. I know Spencer's been at a couple of clubs. Who's the black guy that played for Middlesbrough? And he was getting cramp in the second half. Can't remember his name, but he came into football quite late in terms of it looked like he weren't going to be a baller. I think he went on loan to Scotland and now he's starting. Middlesbrough do a good job in them sort of things. Stock's rising, and it's not just us. You heard Spurs are onto him, other teams are onto him as well, and it's not that Arsenal couldn't attract him. Respectfully, imagine, I don't know. Football's a funny old game of opinions, but let's just say Arsenal come in for you, and I don't know what's a club in my head. Let's just say West Ham as well. West Ham, who are you more likely to play ahead of? Kofar or Tomiyasu? You might say, boom, you know what? I play here at West Ham, or I play at this club or that club. Other people might come in for me. That's assuming he wants to, not that he doesn't want to sign for Arsenal, but you've got a decision to make. And again, good players, everybody wants. Like you're seeing, everybody's looking at Spence. Everyone, like we saw earlier, is looking at Isak. Everyone wants half of these guys. If nobody wants them, sometimes one man's trash is another man's treasure. But you need to look in the right place. What is Arsenal going to do with Pepe? I can see him leaving. I don't want it to happen, but I can see that happening. I don't know, man. With Pepe, sometimes through his fault, the manager, it just feels like we're going in full circles. It feels like it looks doom and gloom. He gets opportunities, doesn't necessarily take them. Kind of set up not to fail, but he's not fluid and been given a lot of football and all of these sort of things. And then the second half of the season, which I'm hoping, which around now, he's one of the best players, if not the best player in an Arsenal shirt until the end of the year. And then it starts again. Now, if I look at it, Pepe, there is probably a role for you as a rotation guy, squad option. If you earn your spot, you earn your spot. I don't think Arteta doesn't like you. I just feel you're not his cup of tea. We just spoke about renewing contracts until the 2024. So you've got Pepe there. Will Pepe look to move on because he's not playing? Again, right now, it just looks like it's, beginning of the end, really. But I hope he comes back from Ivory Coast and just able, because we need a talisman, innit? Like, if he just turns into a second half of the season wonder, that could be the difference between us and top four. We need that sort of thing. Look what Giroud's goals did. Giroud couldn't get a game under Lampard, and then he ended up saving Lampard's bacon at one point. We need stuff like that now, man. Exactly. Pepe usually does well in the second half of the season. So does Laka. I don't know how many goals that entails, but overly, these not do the business, really. But the thing is, they just spent 30 million on Emerson Royal. We've just spent 16 on Tomiyasu. He might just say, you know what, I'll go to one of the promoted clubs. I'll go to somewhere else. I can't lie. That's something Newcastle should be doing quickly. But then again, they just signed Trippier. So I don't know. I mean, even if we signed Spence last window, which was Jan, he can't play for us. It would have been 3 clubs. He's technically played for Middlesbrough. He's gone along to Forest. So you could sign him now and then he joins in the summer. But he couldn't help us in any case. So, yeah, man. It doesn't seem like there's anything else Arsenal related. Don't forget, people, 6:30. I'm gonna be on Twitch. AFCON final business. Emerson Royal's dead food. Exactly. Should fancy yourself. But I'm just, and I would want to do it. Move back to London. But I'm just saying, if another Prem club comes in where it looks like you can get 38 games, you got a decision to make there. It's all in Pepe's hands, but he needs to be given an opportunity. There's only so once he's given an opportunity, then you've got to take it. Martinelli, got an opportunity at the start of the season. The conditions weren't right. Didn't necessarily take him, even though he wasn't set up to thrive necessarily. His opportunities come, he's taking it, Because as much as we clamor on about start this guy, start that guy, unexpected high bills if you don't hit the like button, people, over 100 if you haven't. As much as we clamor on about this guy, that guy, and the other, they've got to take chances, bro. Whether it's 10 minutes, 90. And of course, I'm harsh saying that. But as you lot know, football's a harsh game, man. Bro, Spence is looking decent with the zeros. His agent's laughing, man. Them know they're getting a payday. Spence knows, boy. You soon get the Lambo truck and that. You're 2 contracts away from that. You get your big boy move in the summer, and then the next deal on top of that. I'm sure Southgate indirectly, maybe not too soon, but he's got his scouts. I can't lie again. I'm not going to say I've watched a million games from him, but I've watched probably about 10 games in general that have included Spence, and I've liked him. He looks better than Wan-Bissaka. Maybe United are saying, yo, what gone? Middlesbrough are laughing. They know they're making peas. Or Middlesbrough might say, you know what, boy, you're part of our team now. We all know he's probably going to skip the levels and say, you know what, doing my thing. And respectfully, there's no assuming he's going to hit the heights at the Prem. He's a young man still learning. Every time we watch him, he's badding it up. But it's very different when you've seen a man for 30 games or so, if you are to get that. As I always say, don't necessarily tell us about his weak strengths. We need to know his weaknesses. I mean, the bar's on the floor, innit? Really, not that hard to do. Watching the Rangers game to see Rambo, shameless nostalgia. Hey, wow, there's not even gonna be time. Hopefully he does a madness, man. Be nice to see him score. I was watching a bit of the Barca game. I was hoping when Aubameyang come on, I was hoping for that goal, but yeah, it wasn't meant to be. To be fair, he only got half an hour, and man ain't played for a minute, hot second. So it is what it is. I guess I can't ask for too much from the guy now, can I? I don't know why Arteta wants to keep Eddie. I don't know, but even that, like, if I'm Eddie, I'm gonna say allow it, bro, because I've played 50. He's gonna play a lot more, but I've played 50 minutes up until this point in the league. Like, I'm not critiquing the Arteta for doing that because Lacazette's better and the decisions have been better and just better. But if I'm Eddie, I'm like, yeah, allow it, bro. Just allow it, man. I just read your comment before, man. Come on, man. Respectfully, my guy, there's 255 people here. The world does not revolve around you. Please, respectfully, man. If it gets read, it gets read. If it don't, it don't, man. I don't know what you think this is. Respectfully. But yeah, I don't know why he wants to keep him. And we're going to see why, innit? I think Eddie's just going to run down. Well, it's not well. It's just everyone thinks now. He's just going to run down the deal and cut out, man. And I'm not going to begrudge him for that. Do your thing, Eddie, I guess. I guess. It is what it is, really. Wait. DG, what team does Eddie actually start for in the league? I don't think there's one, bro. I'll be real. In fact, I think there's teams he could get more minutes, teams he could do a thing, but I don't think there's one. Like Premier League teams, I don't think there's one. Let me look at the table just so I can see the teams. Obviously, I don't think you don't start for City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, West Ham. You don't start for us. You don't start for Spurs. You don't start for Wolves. I don't know if you start ahead of Mupé. I think you can get minutes, but you're not starting there. You're not starting ahead of Kelechi at Leicester and them and there. I don't know if you start ahead of Ollie Watkins and Ings. I wouldn't necessarily. You could get minutes at Southampton and Villa, but I don't think so. Palace, I don't even think you start there. You can get minutes and earn your spot. Leeds, you went on loan, you didn't start there. I don't think you start there. Brentford, you do not start there. Everton, you don't start there. Norwich, Pookie, you might start there. You might start there, you know. You might start there. I don't know, really. You don't start for Burnley, Newcastle, Watford, in my opinion. You might start for Watford, to be fair. Maybe Watford and Norwich. Maybe, potentially. Respectfully to Eddie. Which striker would you take in the summer? I don't know, man. I would love to see Darwin Núñez. Rumours again. Lautaro Martinez. I mean, if, you know, the names we've been linked with, wouldn't mind Isak. Like Jonathan David. Just make something happen, innit? Just make sure you bring a striker. You're going to need a striker. So just get someone in it. Like, I don't know at this point. It is what it is. Doesn't seem like there's anything else Arsenal related, folks. So yeah, man. It is what it is. Best of luck to El Nene's in the final. Unfortunate with Guendouzi. For some, I'd like us to get Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jonathan David, but I really like Schick. Nah, I'm not really on the Schick thing. Yeah, I wouldn't sign Watkins. I'll leave that one, man. They're gonna want too much. Like, how much are they gonna want? These strikers are gonna carry premiums and they're necessarily worth it. Like, I wouldn't mind Ivan Toney in my squad, but for 50 million, probably they're gonna say. Come on, man. Absolute myth. See if there's anything else. Boy. Leicester out. Shout out to Forest, man. That Brennan Johnson guy's surely gonna earn a move. Don't think he's gonna be there long, respectfully. English tax is it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Respectfully, even look at Ben White. I like Ben White, but one season in the Prem, 50 mil. This is what it comes with. That's to make money, man. If we were ready to blow the bags for Vlahovic, you'd assume we go for Dominic Calvert-Lewin since he's closer to profile than Isak. I don't know, but maybe they just like these players for different reasons. Hit the like button. Big up yourself, Kareem. Big up DG. Keep up the good work. Keep bringing that level-headed approach to being an Arsenal fan. One love from Jamaica. Appreciative. Bring Isak or Jonathan David. I'd rather Isak. But I do. There's just something that I don't know what it is, man. There's just something, the element of unknown about Jonathan David because he really is improving it. Everyone talks about main strikers, but who would you take as a backup to the main guy? This is where I need my scouts to make something happen. If not, and we got to do it in-house, then Mr. Martinelli. I think Smith Rowe at striker can do a job. I'll take your word for it, man. That false 9 thing didn't bang against Villarreal. So could we... Is that Arteta's burner account? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think we was buying Isak for his release clause. And, unless, we're going to play a very smart game over the summer, unless you're gonna activate his release clause, you're gonna have to negotiate and rely on the player to kind of force the move. And again, they might have the same stance in the summer as they did in Jan, release clause or nothing. And then it comes down to how much does Isak want to move to, not just Arsenal or whatever club. But rather Richarlison than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. 2 players I don't know what to expect much from, man. Hopefully now Arteta plays Pepe is going to have to. There's a lot of games to play and we don't have the biggest squads. Everyone's going to have to get their chance in some capacity. Whether they take it is a completely another case, really. Ballard, I don't know if Ballard will stay at the club. He might be sold. He might seek pastures new. I don't know. No one knows, really. Boy, every club's going to be queuing up for Spence, especially as he's part of a giant killing. Boy, fear Nottingham Forest. I hope Nottingham Forest go all the way, man. They're my team to beat in the FA Cup. Boy. We'll have to see. I don't think Mavropanos is coming back. Not that I'm panicking, but I just can't wait to see someone holding that scarf and telling us sweet nothings. Trust, man. I love it as well. I've been an Arsenal fan for years, man. I think Sociedad might lower their asking. Exactly. But that's what I mean. It's a game of negotiations, man, and a game of charades, as you lot know. You leave people kind of short in Jan. Will any academy players get some game time in the first team during the rest of the season? I hope Amari Hutchinson, Patino, Mika Beref, all these guys can. You might need to use them. I hope so. If they're on the bench, you've got to use them at some point. I mean, Smith Rowe false 9. I mean, if it works, it works. Arteta's the gaffer and all, but yeah, man, can we just play players in their actual positions, please? I'm asking for too much. I don't know, man. Maybe I am. Can we just let guys perfect their, inside, left, creative, mid, 10 thing and then let them do the rest? I don't know, man. Yeah, we spoke about Isak. Smith Rowe at strike would be good since he has a knack of getting into the box already. Martinelli's pace might be best on the wings. DG, who was better in the academy, Saka or Mari. They're 2 very different players. What I would say is you just knew Amari's a special talent, but Saka is different with it, is what I'd say. I remember vividly the Checo Trade trophies on the right wing. That's why I remember. You lot weren't here. You used to sit with fans. They're like, Saka, what do you mean? He's a left back. He's a left winger. He doesn't play on the right. He doesn't play on the right. So, okay, cool. Not that I knew something that no one else did, but all right, cool. Because you weren't at Meadow Park. All right, cool. Play Pepe as a false 9. I hear it, but I'd rather just Martinelli do that, man. Because when you look at when Pepe's played through the false 9, you look at his heat maps, he pulls to the flanks anyways, on too often. I hear it. we're gonna need to try something. You know, we're gonna need to try something because nothing else seems to be working. We're gonna have to do something really and truly. I can't lie though, people. With us watching time, I'm going live at 6:30. I'm gonna lock this off just so I have enough time to pattern that. Again, it's Senegal versus Egypt, live AFCON final. That's going to be over there on Twitch, people. I'll be back again in terms of our next content. Again, like I said, 6:30 on Twitch. Open up another tab. 10 a.m. live stream on Twitch tomorrow. We'll be talking football. I'll be live at 4:30 p.m. tomorrow on Twitch to play FM. And sandwiched in between that will be on YouTube at 11:30, provided there's something to speak about, people. But yeah, it is what it is. I think Martinelli, listen, if Martinelli wants the 14, 11, 9, he can do what he wants, man. But yeah, obviously, we've spoken about Arteta's interview. We looked at Isak rumors, not just for us, but what it could mean if he did go to United. There's rumors of Saliba new deal and the ramifications that could have. And we've spoken about some other stuff, man. And obviously, don't forget, people, Arsenal obviously playing on Thursday, and I'm going to be doing a watch along for that. So make sure you've hit the like button on that and make sure you've set your reminders as well on that one. Let me actually make sure, is this video actually taking you lot to that? Oh, didn't even put the redirecting, but you can actually do that. There you have it. So yeah, man, it is where it is. Just before I get out, I don't want to miss. I'm missing certain comments from my regulars. What is our starting 11? I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think we've got a starting 9. I really want, big up yourself, Paul. I really want Pepe to play on the left, Martinelli through the middle, and Saka on the right. That could be something until the end of the season. See you on Twitch. I appreciate that. But yeah, man, obviously, I'm going to go set that up. I need to turn on the other computer, and I actually need to do a couple graphics for that as well. So let me do that, man. On that note, please hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you have not. And, you know, most importantly, stay safe. If I don't see you tomorrow or from now till tomorrow, have a fantastic start to the week, people. On that note, DG.
There's always that active red line defenders. I think it's like